Competition happens constantly in many forms amongst nations of the world in diplomatic, informational, military, and economic arenas. Rivals often challenge each other in one of them while they cooperate in a different one. Oh, that's good to know, isn't it? Isn't it good to know that we can be competing in one thing and cooperating in something else simultaneously? Competitors include a wide range of political actors, from nation states to groups organized around a single cause. While discussion below will often refer to state versus state rivalries, in most cases the ideas apply equally to challenges with non-state actors. Competition in various forms among various different actors is the norm in international relations. So that's great that they're talking about international relations, and we're talking about these. I keep throwing all these percentages out today. Is that a good thing? I don't think it's a good thing. It's a little question. It's questionable. Yeah. Is anyone going to be able to check me on my 97% facts?
No.
All right. Well, I'm going to estimate that a vast majority of people that are listening to this podcast are not engaged at a policy level with interstate rivalries. So what's important to recognize is that everything that we're talking about doesn't only apply to this country versus that country. It applies everywhere. Continuing on, the Marine Corps participates in the competitions of the United States in many ways. Foremost among them is to fight and win our nation's battles and be ready to do so at all times. And then it says this: war itself is a special kind of competition, which is a classic line, right? To say that war itself is a special kind of competition, so we salute the Marine Corps for that statement, because it certainly is a special type of competition. How it fits in the overall continuum will be explored in detail. The very existence of the Marine Corps is a competitive act, as it signals to potential rivals that there are vital interests our nations will go to war to protect, and that those of a maritime nature are important enough that we have invested in a dedicated naval expeditionary force to protect them. So that's a big statement. And one thing that I love about this entire manual is this entire manual written by the Marine Corps. And I just want you to pay attention to this. And you kind of have to know what's going on between all the different services. You got the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. And all of them are in competition at all times. And not just, hey, our planes are better than yours and our pilots are better. Not that competition. They're competing for money. For money. And so I hate to do this to the Marine Corps because I do love the Marine Corps, but there are so many maneuvers in this book that if you read it, you go, well, we better take care of the Marine Corps. We better give them a little edge. And that's one of those lines right there. Vital interest in our nation.
Yeah. Just in case you care about the ocean, you might want a Marine Corps. Just in case you care about the ocean,
you might want a Marine Corps. They get that in there. But what's interesting about this is the very existence of the Marine Corps is a competitive act. So how many things do you do or have or say that just being there is a competitive act? Go.
To your point, I mean, look, I think it's cool the Marine Corps wrote this. I'm stoked that it's a Marine Corps pub. I was a Marine. But just like what you said, you could change the words Marine Corps. You could put any word you want in there. The existence of the military. You just made a connection to family, this idea of competition. So when I was looking at this at first, not knowing what to expect, the connection that I was making of when they're talking about competing, the first thing is competition doesn't have to be a bad thing. That word shouldn't mean, oh, that means conflict and we're fighting. That isn't what it means. And it doesn't have to be about two nations going to war. It doesn't even have to be about the Marine Corps. And the fact the Marine Corps wrote it is cool. That's not the point. And something else that you've been talking about a lot lately, and I've been stealing it. You've been talking a lot about alignment. And when there's conflict in an organization, we see this at companies we work with all the time. What you need to do is find alignment. And the thing I was just thinking in that first couple of sentences is competition. The more aligned you and I are, the healthier the competition is, meaning the less likely the outcome is going to be some sort of conflict or a fight. If we're aligned, really aligned, we might be competing all the time just to make each other better, just to do a better job for our clients, whatever it is. And the likelihood of you and I competing, and we might be competing every day, the likelihood of you and I competing, turning it into a conflict is almost zero. Now, if we are highly misaligned, then that competition has the potential of the outcome being much different. But competition by itself, where it applies and what it means, 5 minutes into it, you're talking family. So there's a connection here that is way deeper than at first couple of sentences at face value as I'm looking, the Marine Corps pub on competition, this is going to be cool. There's a lot more to it. It doesn't have to be about the Marine Corps as you're listening to it either.
Yeah, one of the notes that I took down early on, where I started talking about 99%, the note that I took down when I was reading it for the first time was 99% of the time, you don't have to resort to violence because you can find alignment. Because as long as you can find, and you've heard me say that on EF Online, if you can find alignment, well then we can work together. If you and I are aligned, if you and I are not aligned on 48 different things that are lower level things, but we're aligned at the most important thing, we're good.
We're good.
And the example of that, what I bring up with companies is, hey, Jocko and Dave can't get along. Oh, okay. Well, they can't get along about what? Well, Dave wants to invest in that. Jocko wants to invest in that. Dave wants to move here. Jocko wants to move there. Okay, so they can't get along. Okay, well, let's ask this question. Do Dave and Jocko, who work at the same company, do they want the company to make money? Yes. Do they want to be able to serve their customers? Yes. If we can get aligned on those things, then the rest of it is just figuring out the details.
And if you do what you were just talking about, the more you think in decentralized command, the more you think in commander's intent, the more you think strategically, the less you care about those details. You go, oh, wait, you want the same thing? Dude, go do whatever you want. Let me know how I can help. Because then I think, none of those details matter at all because you want what I want. And if I can just check my ego and go, oh, you know what? Dude, go do that. Can I back you up? Give me a call if I can help you. The competition part or the conflict part goes away. And it allows you to accomplish so many more things if you think in decentralized command rather than just the action of, I'm a leader. I have to push some decisions down to my next layer down. That's the actions of decentralized command. You were talking about thinking in decentralized command. That's what lets you not worry about all those details.
Yeah. And by the way, if I want Dave to be at point A and I know that Dave knows to go to point A, I don't care how he gets there. But what's important is that allows me to look forward, to look to the next point, to look to point B or C or D, because I'm not worried about how Dave's going to get there. He's going to get there. And if he needs some help, he knows to call me. Cool. No factor.